65. That's as high as these things go. So to me, you watch this, Rough Rider on this particular carbon T10, you know, is between 60 and 65. That's pretty good. As a control, we're going to try the D2. And then it'll have to be another video because I'm already at 11 minutes. Like, straighten up the camera, everything got knocked out. I'm using that wobbly thing holder simply because it's easier on this with a tripod here. I cannot get this thing. I cannot get this thing to stabilize or give me any room to get in there. I mean, it'll stabilize. Oh, he finally fell over. I don't know who pushed him. I think this levered him. We got a little domino effect going on here. All right. So let's go with D2. We're going to start off with 55 on D2 because, I mean, it should be at least 55. Let's do it on the main blade. Main blade, marbles D2. Let me wipe it off again. I want to keep these scientific tests completely, 100% scientific because, yes, that's the way I run my lab here. All right, I wonder what you're up to now. Oh yeah, and Jerome told me also that this could be a belly button. I hadn't thought about that. This could be a belly button, and I don't know it. It's not a squeaky toy. What does it say? Oh, it's got a part number. Let's read you. Something international. And then a big long stock number or part number. It was glued in there. That extra piece was glued in there for some reason. All right, back to testing. I don't care about your dinosaur. Rockwell test him. I don't think he's going to stand up. All right, we got to go up 2x. Everybody can see what the hell's going on. All right, you see there's no prior glare here. We go along. Slidey. Which is a good sign. You can see it's starting to try to mar, though, is it? I don't know. Let's try 60. Speed this up. It's all right. You're taking too long. You're taking too long. Shut up back there. Slidey. Little bit of. It's gonna have to scratch on 65. So, because this is only to within a 5 Rockwell hardness, you can't. It's gonna look like both of these are the same. There's no difference between the D2 and the carbon steel, as far as, yeah, scratching. You can feel it digging in. Barely scratching though. So that's where you get this feel difference thing on it, The other one easily scratched. This one barely scratches. So I'd say it's towards the higher end. See that? And it's not really a super scratch, but I wouldn't think it would be much higher than 65. See that? It barely scratched it. Now let's look at the... Which one did I test? Did I test this guy? Yeah. Look at that scratch. Or set of scratches. Compared to those. So yeah, that's about all I can tell you on from what I see on that. All right, now I won't have time to test. I won't have time to test S35VN and all this, but let's test some marbles 440A just as kind of a control here. All right, let's jump right up to 60 because we're short for time and it's heating up in here. It's been over 100 degrees every day, and for the next 10 days, there is no relief. 41 degrees centigrade, with like, or more with, let me turn it this way where I can hold it better. Sliding. All right. I noticed this during editing, that I probably picked up the 55 instead of 60, so I went and checked, and sure enough, 60 scratches. So the Rockwell on the 440A on the marbles is between 55 and 60. So yeah, that's where I messed up on this. But I caught it during editing. So there you go. Thank you. Stay there. That was 60. This is 65. So yeah, you know, according to this, it looks like it doesn't matter what kind of steel you get. They're all going to be basically the same. D2 is going to be a little bit harder. But let me get back to 2X. I'll turn it around where I can hold it. 65. Oh yeah, there's a scratch. Yeah, that didn't come out with smearing it off, so. Yeah, well that's interesting. I thought this would have tested the lowest out of all that we got there. But, yeah, well, that's interesting. What's our conclusion? Yeah, I don't know. If you like D2, buy D2. If it has better edge retention for you, then fine. I personally like my steels that I don't have too many steels I don't like. You start getting down to the lower CRs, like 5 CR or 3 CR. It depends on what it's being used on. You know, I'm not a big fan of those. But anything. Also, there's advantages and disadvantages to having a really tough to sharpen steel. These are going to require usually to have a diamond stone with you or something like that. Stropping usually going to require some kind of compound if you're trying to, you know, keep the edge really good, although it can work without any compound on it. You have the advantage of, you know, non-rusting capabilities relatively on the 440A. This is D2. It's pretty close to stainless, but it's not. So it's all your personal preference, I would think. What I wouldn't want to limit my knife purchase to just what kind of steel it has. I know they like to push the latest and greatest steels, but a lot of these are perfectly fine. These steels work perfectly fine. You know, one may chip a little bit less than the other. One may hold an edge a little bit better. One might roll instead of chip. That to me is a little bit more important than how long it'll hold an edge. Because, you know, if you're just carving one thing, he was just within range. This back here, this edge right here is sharp. This is not, it came from the factory like that. The real Buck 110 original one didn't have that. Also, there's no nail nick on this one, which makes it look a little sleeker profile. We'll test this one and this one later at another time because I'm already at like 20 minutes and I got to edit this, throw it together, and it takes forever to upload. Might be a two-parter. Break it down to 2 10-minute ones. 2 minutes. Yeah, be like 80x speed. All right, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that. Goofy is still goofy. He's all right. One other comment, you know, was like, hopefully PETA doesn't see the video on the moths or insects, but that gave me a good idea for a little skit. with Boris and Nigel about him being protested because he's selling his mattresses full of insects, and the insects are being eaten, and they're in peti instead of PETA. People for the ethical treatment of insects are protesting him. That would make a good little skit. I already thought of that one in my head. But there you go. That's a little long-winded discussion to show you that, yeah, if you're within 5 on the Rockwell Hardness Test, and according to what we just saw today, and what I tested today, you can get an idea as to which ones are harder to steal. But I think actually sharpening the knife or using it, cutting, well, just find out what you prefer, you know. It's stainless more important to you, or really long edge holding capabilities. It's really personal preference. There's so many knives out there with so many different choices. There's a knife out there for you. Somewhere there's a knife out there that's going to be perfect for your particular task and desires. There you go. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.